All right. Welcome everybody back to the 2025 CUSA Football Kickoff and Media Day. We're joined by Jack State head coach Charles Kelly. He's going to start with an opening statement before we head to questions. Those on Zoom, continue to type your questions in the chat, and we'll get to them if we have time. Coach, welcome.
Thank you. It's first of all, on behalf of Jack State University, it's an honor for me to represent our great university, our president, Dr. Killingsworth, our athletic director, Greg Seitz, our board of trustees. It's an honor to represent, our student athletes here at the 2025 Conference USA Media Day. I would also like to thank, Commissioner McLeod and her incredible staff for this first-class event that they've put on. This is pretty amazing. It's amazing for not only our coaches, but for our student athletes that were able to join us, for these 2 days. I think, Conference USA plays such a critical role in, creating a window for all of our universities to not only show what our student athletes can do, but what our universities as a whole can do. So I think that's a really important thing, and I think Conference USA has done an incredible job. I've been coaching for a long time, and the respect that I have for this conference, the teams that play in this conference, and the coaches that we have in this conference is probably as good, as competitive as anybody in the country. I'm just, and I've followed this conference for years. It's not just the last couple of years. I've followed this conference for a long time, and I mean, so many great players and so many former coaches, great coaches that have coached here. It's an honor to be in this conference. We're excited, being the defending champions. We're excited to be able to play and to defend that championship. With any time that it wouldn't matter who the head coach was, what you did last year has nothing to do with what you're going to do the following year. Every year is a new year, and the things that have changed in college football now, rosters change, teams change, coaches change. So it is a big challenge for us, but we're excited about the challenge. I brought two fantastic representatives of our football team, Michael Petway, Daryl Prater. Both of those young men, have been at Jacksonville for a while. They've been a part of conference championship. They were a part of the first bowl win in school history, and they represent what we want to build as a program as far as the type of players and type of young men. They have been great leaders since I've been there, so I'm excited about having them, with us. As I mentioned, every year is a new year. And football, college football has changed. It might change before we make it back to Birmingham tonight, the way things go on a daily basis. But what we look at and what we try to do is control what we can control. That's the bottom line. So when I took the job in December, the day after I accepted the job, I get to our office, and the most important thing that I had to address was roster management. And it was a shock that day. We had 47 guys on scholarship, and one quarterback and one corner. So we had to get out and start working, and our staff, and I've got a tremendous coaching staff and support staff. They've done an incredible job of, first of all, identifying, evaluating people that we wanted to bring into the program, and then recruiting those people. And now it's our job to develop them. So we've got 51 new additions since December 22nd. I think 26 of those were high school players. 25 of those are collegiate transfers. And no different when we recruit a transfer or recruit a high school player. What we're doing is looking to evaluate and find out if they're the best fit for us and what we're trying to do. So they've worked very hard since we've been there. We went through the winter program that transitioned us into spring practice. We felt like we had a good spring. We developed in a lot of areas. There were a lot of areas that we had to improve on, not only from a talent standpoint, but just development. We felt like we did that. Those young men got a few weeks off in May, and then once Memorial Day hit, it was, we were back for summer workouts, and they've been on campus ever since. So, I've been impressed with the way they work, but again, we'll report on Sunday. We'll have our first official practice on Tuesday, and then we'll see where we're at. So, with that, I'll open it up for any questions.
Sounds great. Ken on the front.
Coach Ken Capps from Football Writers Association of America.
Yes, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I'm sure you've been asked this question a million times, so here will be 1,000,001. Filling the shoes of Rich Rod and being the defending champs, a lot of pressure on you. How do you handle that?
Well, first of all, there is no amount of pressure that will be any more than what is in our building every day. I don't look at it like that. Our demands and what our expectations are, nobody can put any more expectations than what we have. Listen, I think Coach did a really good job while he was there. I think it was he was good for the transition of going from FCS to FBS. But there are a lot of things that we can accomplish in a lot of different areas. Not only in our football program, but for our university. That's what we're looking forward to. Pressure is created by anxiety, and anxiety is created when you don't do the things that it takes to be able to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. So when I look at those things, what I try to do is just focus on what we can control, what we need to work on.
Thank you. Great. Right on the front there.
Coach James Taglianzi, White Red Sun. I know you hired Clint Trickett as your offensive coordinator. I think he was a quarterback and left Florida State right before you came in as defensive coordinator, but I believe his father was offensive line coach at the time.
Right.
Was that relationship that you had there that kind of helped your decision to hire him? And also, what is your approach going to be offensively?
Well, first of all, let me say this about Clint. I've known Clint, I guess, since he was old enough to walk. I was a graduate assistant at Auburn in 1993, and Coach Trickett was the offensive line coach there. Coach Trickett's been very instrumental in my development as a coach, just how to be a professional in this business. Clint was at Florida State when I got to Florida State. I had recruited him when I was at Georgia Tech, and then he went on to Georgia Tech. So he went on to Florida State. I'd followed his career, and then, of course, he transferred, had a great career at West Virginia. And you just always knew that he was going to be a really good football coach. He's very sharp, very bright, very innovative, and he's been around some really good offensive coaches that have helped his development. So, yes, the relationship that I've had with him throughout the years is definitely played a role in me wanting to be able to hire him. But he was the guy that I wanted to, I always said when I get a head coaching job, he's the guy that I want to be able to bring with me. My offensive philosophy is this. I think you've got to be multiple in today's game because the rules are to the offense's advantage. listen, they aren't going to create rules to help the defense. No more. You know, those days are over. But I do believe this. I believe you have to throw the football to be able to score, but I think you have to run the football to be able to win. And that is our philosophy. That's what we want to be able to do. We want to be able to do both. You know, and when people ask, they say, well, you know, I don't want to call the offensive plays. Done it. I don't want to do that. But I guess the best description I can say is I'm the architect. This is what I want our offense to look like, and I'm going to hire the best contractors there are, and I'm going to make sure it's built that way. So that's the best I can describe it.
All right, we got one more time for one more question in the front.
Coach, just can you sticking with offense, could you give an overview of just the quarterback race and where that looks?
You know, we like I mentioned, we had one guy there when I got there. Now, and I'll say this, Caden Creel was there. Never talked about transferring. All he wanted to do was an opportunity to compete. Had a very good spring. We brought in 2 transfer quarterbacks. Gavin Wimsat from Kentucky, who I played against last year when I was at Auburn. He was at Rutgers before. Very talented guy, big guy, 6'3", 225, can run and throw. Got a very good arm. You know, Cade Cunningham, we brought him in from Memphis. Good-looking young man, had a good spring. And then we had, you know, brought 2 high school, signed 2 high school quarterbacks. And, you know, they both are a little bit different. Jack Moran, you know, Gatorade Player of the Year in New Jersey, threw for a lot of yards. He is a big guy that can spin it. And then Caden Mitchell out of Houston Academy in Dothan, Alabama. A little bit similar to Caden Creel. Very athletic, can move, can run, but he can throw the football. So, you know, I would say, and I've told people this after spring, I would say, you know, coming out of spring, I would say Gavin is in the driver's seat, and he's shown good leadership, good poise, and, you know, we'll see how that race continues.
All right, awesome. Thank you for your time, Coach. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
One slight schedule change. Sam Houston head coach Phil Longo will be up next at 11:40. MTSU head coach Derek Mason will move to 1:20.